So we have time for questions now. We might need a microphone for these gentlemen to answer. Oh, you're mic'd up. Oh, way ahead of me, sorry. But we have microphones for the audience now. So one up the back, you look like you're on a mission.
I've got a question from online, Kerry.
All right, we'll start with the online one. Yes.
So this is for Anthony. Will pilot landholders in the New Futures project receive natural capital and or carbon accounts as part of benefits in participating?
So they are, sorry, is that time? Yep. So through the Regen Farmers Mutual process, they get some onboarding with through that program, and that includes sort of some carbon emissions estimates, some biodiversity overview sort of outcome, and sort of like a report that's generated through their onboarding for that particular program. And then they also get their digital twin, which has that more online aspect of an overview of their property and their property boundaries, and they're bringing in additional data and different layers that they can turn on and off in that particular platform. And that platform itself is evolving as the program goes on. So yeah, they get that sort of estimate, similar to I think it was what Alison was saying, like it's an estimate, but not a specific for the different parts of the program. Yep.
Good. We have a question in the front here.
And Anthony, do you see in the future that there could be investment opportunities from businesses who are wanting to be sustainable or regenerative or whatever, who could invest to provide the same sort of income that you're talking about?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what we're sort of trying to explore. So I guess more broadly, the emerging environmental markets and all that sort of thing. But, you know, there is this, if environmental and ESG things are going to have to be on bottom lines and people want to provide that sort of service as an offset, you know, there's going to be someone's going to have to pay for it. And I think, there'll be additional opportunities. How we get this sort of sustainable mechanism going, I think it's still something that we're keen to explore. But certainly, you know, you hear examples from overseas of landscape finance facilities being set up so that there's particular, you know, organisations that can essentially do the liaison piece with those businesses to bring in the money, and then, you know, direct it down in an appropriate way to landholders or to organisations and not-for-profits that are doing work on the ground. That's what we would hope. But yeah, so it's an aspiration that we're looking at as part of this project.
Good. Another question. We have microphones waiting. I was doing the maths. I had grand visions, Liam, of our back paddock for a while there, and then I started doing the maths of $25 a tonne over 10 years, but I'm not sure whether anyone else has got better scales that they can calculate for that project.
And we've got another one from online, Kerry.
Oh, good on the onliners, yes.
Does the Victorian Carbon Farming Program only apply to properties in the North Central CMA region?
Is this thing on? Currently, yes, but the intent is, so we're about to go through an evaluation period, so it has been released as a pilot. That evaluation period will start in the second half of the year, and the intent is to roll it out into other areas of the state and that would be available early next year, we're hoping. So currently yes, but soon to be in other areas.
Okay, we've got any more onliners? Oh, we've got in the middle there, thank you.
This question's for Julian, and it's a hypothetical because I live in New South Wales. But I've got 600 hectares of grassy box woodland under covenant with the Biodiversity Conservation Trust. And at the moment, it's our cattle providing ecosystem services and a huge amount of kangaroos. But I see huge opportunities for cultural burning, which at the moment we're not allowed to do. This country was completely cleared around 1910 or just post First World War, and now is pretty amazing. But I just feel it needs better management. So I just love to hear a bit of a hypothetical around that.
Sure. Yeah. Look, I know that the practice is certainly being revived in New South Wales as well. The way recognition is configured is a bit different. So there's local Aboriginal land councils over smaller areas typically than in Victoria, where there's sort of registered Aboriginal parties. But I would say if you can work out who the local Aboriginal land council is, and I'm sure there's people that can help you work that out, it'd be great to broach that conversation with them, because certainly across New South Wales, across the whole of New South Wales, that coal burning is being revived. So it'd be great to reach out, and if you need a hand, we can always try to help out, but we're probably a little bit better at helping navigate what's going on in Victoria. Yeah.
Great. And I think, Jim, did you have a question?
Just a question for Liam on the 10 years. That seems an incredibly short amount of time to lock this in. Is there sort of restrictions on what is done with the trees if they are harvested after that short amount of time, to make sure that carbon isn't just released back into the atmosphere? So is it locked in timbers or something like that, or because it just seems really short?
Yeah, no, sure, and it is. So in context, the ERF or the ACCU scheme is a minimum of 25 years. But when we did some discussions and outreach to stakeholders, the commitment to lock up land for 25 years was a real impediment. Now, obviously, we're taking on a bit of risk to say it's only 10 years, but we're generally have some comfort or be confident that by 10 years, once the trees are up and established, they're providing real value, and that the likelihood that someone's going to plant those trees just to rip them out is probably not going to eventuate in the majority of cases. So we took that on as risk and kind of hedging our bets in that way. And just, I guess, to bring some context into the $25 a tonne that you mentioned before.
Yes, please.
No, well, a bit of context. At the moment, the current ACCU price on the spot market is around $35, but the audit and administrative costs associated with that are really significant. So I think for a plantations project for a plantations project at least, there's 3 audits required, each around $15,000 to $20,000. And so it really reduces the ability to enter into that. So under this program, the audit requirement isn't really there, and the money is available straight up. So the barrier to entry is a lot lower. So it should be a lot more feasible to have smaller projects.
Good to hear. Any final question? Oh, yes, we are.
Paul Sinclair, question for Julian. The Federal Minister for Ag is making a statement about First Nations people and agriculture within the next year. What would you like him to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. As a spokesperson for all First Nations, I'd really like him to look at JACIC, which is Dja Dja Wurrung's enterprise, and encourage others to have a look at that enterprise too. It's doing amazing work both on that Lockington property and in terms of food and fibre. The other really critical thing is what I touched on there. There's a traditional owner, native food and botanicals strategy and protocol. And that's about recognising the traditional ecological knowledge and science, and how that needs to be safeguarded for economic empowerment alongside other intellectual property in this space. And that's something that's the World Intellectual Property Organisation have just started to recognise that a bit, but there's a long way to go. So yeah, get him to do that. Thanks.
Looks like we have another online question.
Liam, is the carbon farming program available to undertake tree planting as an action from the project that we heard earlier on from Alison about reducing farm emissions?
Yes, so it can. The 2 projects will coordinate. So I guess the short answer is yes. There needs to be some, coordination to make sure that there's, not double dipping in the sense that those activities are aligned and complementary. But certainly, if under the on-farm action plan, that one of the activities is to plant trees, they'll be eligible to apply under the carbon farming program.
Okay, I'm scanning the room. The good news is that over afternoon tea, you'll be able to talk to Liam and the team and some of those projects. And of course, our other two speakers will also be available to speak. So will you please thank these three for a wonderful talk? Thank you.